Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, we are K&K, and we're here to discuss a 3-month software implementation for publishers and media. My name is Eric Reese, and I'm a senior consultant with K&K in North America, and I work on projects like this and others. And my colleague Thomas will introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for your visiting our presentation. My name is Thomas, and I'm the sales director and part of the German management board of the K&K Group.
All right. With that, we will share some slides and begin our presentation. All right, so yes, we are going to, this is a master class on the 3-month software implementation for publishers. So first we'll begin by discussing why we're doing this. We'll just have a quick introduction to why we decided to do this because of implementation challenges we've encountered, and then we'll talk in more depth about how we do it by using a case study. So the why is, oh yeah, this is Thomas and me and our pictures. So we'll put that up at the end and maybe a little contact info. So the why comes from our experience. We've had a lot of experience with publishing and media implementations throughout our history, and we have worked in over 450 customers, as it says, 7 locations around the world. And this is just to say that we've seen a lot. I won't say we've seen it all, but we've seen a lot. We've had a lot of experience with implementations, and some go well, some don't go well. So with that experience and other industry knowledge, we've handled a lot of different publishing scenarios and media scenarios. These are just some of the names of some of them. A lot of the German ones are mentioned here because this is a Frankfurt, but we are all over the world. And this is really just to say that we've kind of done this before, and we just wanted to share some techniques and some methodology that we've developed to try to make this thing go more smoothly, faster, and more predictably. So the challenges and let me just preface this by saying, if you do software implementations, let's say you're in the industry or you've done them before, you know a lot of this. But if you haven't, and you're thinking about what you need to do, these are some of the things that can go wrong, or I should say do often go wrong. When the project doesn't work, we look back and say, these are the things that didn't work. So unclear objectives or business focus. So really the why are you doing this implementation gets lost. And that ends up where the stakeholders are not aligned. The stakeholders aren't really aware of what's going on. The users don't really know why or what the value of the whole project is. So the people get stuck in the middle and sort of lose focus. And that leads to bad decisions or wasted time on things that aren't necessarily bringing value. So just losing focus on the value is a big one. The other one, we will talk about how we help mitigate all these things, but the other one is the lack of staff availability. So when you start a project like this, you do have to dedicate some time, the right people with the right skills. So that's something that happens. Unclear and changing requirements. This is a big one. As you're in the middle of it, you say, oh, wait, I forgot we need to do this or we need to do that. So that's, again, if you're in this business like we are, you see this all the time, but it is very important when you go into an implementation to know what the scope is, what the requirements are. And once you agree on that, and then have a methodology that works, then the results can be much more predictable. With the other ones are, the next couple are project management, I should say, unrealistic scheduling. Sometimes that's the management has an unrealistic idea of schedule, but sometimes you just try to cram too much into the box. So just to be clear, you can't do everything in 3 months, but we're going to talk about a type of project we can do in 3 months, which is really an example of the methodology. We can expand it into other things, but you can't cram everything into a time box just because you want to, or at least you don't have enough resources to do it. So that's unrealistic scheduling is one of the reasons projects have trouble. And then poor communication between teams. between stakeholders, and that's another thing that causes problem. And lack of testing. Last but not least, just when you go live, it's not the time to find out something doesn't work for you. So sufficient testing is critical. So successful projects, this is just the flip side. What do? They drive towards purpose and strategic value. So that's what as we try to keep in front of people as we're moving along, and they keep focus on the business objective. So we're not wasting time. We're doing things that are valuable. Successful projects secure the right people with the skills and enough time. Again, we can't emphasize enough. You have to give the people working on the project enough time to actually do it. They can't do their full-time job while they're doing this. They have to have a little bit of time or a lot for the project, depending on what their role is. They have clear requirements and effective project management. Timelines are realistic. We're not trying to cram something into a box that won't fit. They keep the business focus in front of people at all times. And short delivery cycles is important. What we mean by that is you can provide some increment of value, let's say if it's weekly or every 2 weeks or daily, so that you have delivery cycles so you can see progress and see movement towards progress on a very short basis. So you're not waiting, users aren't waiting weeks and months to see anything valuable, and stakeholders aren't waiting. So communication is open and frequent, and testing is very thorough. So these are what makes successful projects for anybody, not K&K. I mean, everybody. These are the things that make successful projects. So with that in mind, we created a methodology to do this, and Thomas is going to take us through that methodology in a case study right now.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. While stopping sharing your screen, I can take over the presentation. And as Eric mentioned, I'm not sharing, sorry for that. There we are. Yeah, the question still is, how can you really succeed in a very quickly process and on a fixed budget concerning software projects? And what is key is, on the one hand, the standard capability that you bring in and that the software brings in. And the other one is the profile of users and key users. So what are their skills? What are their resources? And we figured out a certain methodology, and I will show you a showcase and how we manage that to really succeed fast on a fixed budget with a specific customer in Germany, and what are the key takeaways from that methodology. Well, first of all, seeing the standard capabilities, that's quite easy. You know, in this case, you always have the questions of what kinds of business areas do you want to automate with new software? And in this case, for example, there are different business areas as publishers do have. The subscription area, there's the financial area, and doing royalties, and for example, events. And the first question is, so how capable are you towards a proven and standard software solution that comes with certain processes? Yeah. And of course, if you are able to implement a standard software and to adapt these processes that the software has, the first reason for a quick and a successful project, or the first precondition, is fulfilled actually. And the problem might be if you have specific needs for specific subscription, in this case subscription process or individual processes, because in this case it is unclear, and it takes time to clarify what processes do you really need and what processes do the new software does have to fulfill in order to meet your to fulfill your needs. And of course, it's not the question of what are the processes that take time and that costs, and it's the question of how do you set up the system then concerning individual processes. So sometimes you have to program a little bit, or to have to arrange questions and so on, and that does take time, and that is a problem, as Eric mentioned before. And so the other one next to the standard capability of your organization is the question, who are the key users? Who are the users in the project? What skills do they have? And what tasks can they really fulfill concerning the resources they have, and so on? And I put up here the best skill set that we have. So the ideal key user, the ideal project member of our customer knows all the processes and can adapt new processes because the person is so much aware of how to change and rearrange the organization. Very important is you have to make decisions. It's always on detail, of course, but somebody has to make decisions at least concerning new processes or certain functionalities. New software always means that there is a change coming with it. And the key user has to train its own team, so in the department. So you have to learn the software. How is it functioning? How can I deliver this software for my own team or for end users at the end of a project? Yeah? And then there are certain other areas of practice the key users should do if they are the ideal key users, at least reporting faults and communicate with the project management of the partners and the own project management. But this is not always the case, actually. And now I show you the certain case that I wanted to present. And in this case, it is a famous German business newspaper publishing house. There are two famous publications that come in on daily issues. It's a print and a digital combination. And they needed a new ERP solution concerning their financial processes, concerning subscription management, and concerning their royalties for the newspapers. And the situation that we found is that there was an old built-in software with little automatism concerning their new infrastructure. So there's a company-wide infrastructure that changed, and which was the main reason actually to look for new software in the specific areas. And the old software just cost time, and there were a lot of manual steps to fulfill and so on. And if you do manual steps, there's the risk of failures and so on. Yeah, and also it is the software that was implemented there has been the people work with the software for years, for decades sometimes. Yeah, and it's a learned process, of course, and that means that probably you don't want to change this process because you have been working with it for years. Yeah, why should I change something because only management wanted to do that? Yeah, and the risk in this case is that the people using the software, the old software, do carry a lot of knowledge. And if they go, they take the knowledge with them. And that is a problem as well. So the requirements that we found were there that they needed a new software because they needed future viability. The new software has to be embedded in a company-wide software as a service or cloud infrastructure, which was new and which comes with a lot of technical advantages and so on. And they wanted more optimism, so less failures, and they want to become more independent from their employees and from the knowledge that the employers only have. Yeah. And then again, there was little budget and there was little time or less time because the old software was only, the contract with the old software expired, and that was the situation. And we found some challenges actually. So there were highly individual processes, only concerning the specific company actually. The users didn't want to change anything. They worked with the software for years. So why do we have to change anything? There was no sense of responsibility for the users. So it's not my task. It's not. It's just the management task. I don't want to change. There was no project experience for the users. And then in this case, some of the users only work 4 hours a day. So how much time do they have for project work actually? And there was time pressure concerning the contracts and the support for the old software, which ended. Yeah. So what was the readiness when we began to talk and when there was a start of the contact? There was no readiness, absolutely no. And so the question was, how can we ensure that there was sort of standard capability, or how can we build that standard capability? And how can we create more optimal key users in this specific case? And there are 3 parts of it actually. So the first part is very clear actually. So you have to have a standard software, of course. It has to be an experienced, ready-to-go solution, proven with other, in this case, publishing houses and so on. Yeah, of course, otherwise you have to program and you have to analyze, and that always takes time. And the other reason or the other part is you should clarify that key users and the customer gets ready for that project. Yeah. there are cost drivers, there's time consumption, yeah, and key users have to do something, and you have to guarantee that these users are really the right ones and they get ready and they have enough time. I will show you later how we did that. And then if that is everything, if this is clear, so there's a standard software and everybody's absolutely ready to go, then it's quite easy. We call it then onboarding. That is a standard methodology. This is actually only the methodology to fulfill the work that you defined before. So everybody knows what to do, when to do, on how much time the task has to be fulfilled. Yeah, and of course, key users know that they have to do that. It's a do-it-yourself program, and it's not just like what can you do as a partner, but what can we do together, and what is my task. So what is key besides the standard capable software is the get ready phase. Yeah. So how do we get key users ready to work on a project and then to be fast and to be on budget? Yeah. Well, in this get ready, as a period in this phase, we clarify the most important cost drivers, which is not only a question of money, but especially a question of resources and a question of skills. Yeah, and you have to avoid those cost drivers in front of the project. And so this is one goal. The other one is you can only be on time and be on budget if there's a reliable, a concrete project plan, and that has to be approved by all the partners, by the management, by the team, by the key users, by the software partner, of course. And this is very, very important. And you can only do it when you clarify the specific cost drivers or the specific problems and address the problems in front. Now, you have to ensure the key users to really know what to do when a project comes up. Yeah. So what is their task? How do they do that? Show them the work before and plan realistically how much time the key user can spend. Yeah? And in the end, summing it up, you have to assure that you don't forget anything. Yeah? So we do this get ready phase. And the get ready phase, in the first place, clarifies very technically, so what is the future infrastructure actually like? So that was the need. Yeah? The company wanted a new software solution for the specific areas because they rebuilt their infrastructure. And of course, you have to clarify, okay, how is the software embedded in that infrastructure? Then you have to determine which data do we really have to take along in the project. So there's a lot of old data, and probably a lot of key users tend to take, let's say, all data or a lot of data with into the new software because you never know. Yeah, but that is a problem. You shouldn't do that. Just clarify only to take data with you that you really, really needed to fulfill new processes in the new software, and store and archive old data just in case you once maybe need them. Yeah. Same goes for interfaces. And then, of course, there's a standard software. So we always have a situation that there are existing processes and the new software comes with, let's say, in certain details, other processes. So we have to match. Do the new software processes that are standard match with the needs of our customers? So in this case, we present the processes, we present the use cases, and that gives the customer the chance to think about it. Can we really work with the new software? Is there anything we needed in there? And if not, there might be the chance or the possibility for change requests, which is not a problem. Could be, but you have to clarify it in front, not when the project is still or is ongoing. Yeah? Then other parts is, like this is very specifically the financial setup. That is always different, so what chart of accounts, what dimensions do you need, and so on. And what is really key is this part here. Sit together with the key users, sit together with the management, and show them how the project is done. So we sat there in this specific case and showed how to migrate data, yeah? How to set up the system. We trained it together with the key users. And they had the chance in front of the project to ask how to do it. They got a feeling, am I really able to do it, or am I not? And this hurts sometimes because it's not always fun to do it actually, but you have to be aware of what is coming up. And then the same part we asked, so how much time do you have? How many hours a week do you work? Are there specific vacation times, or I don't know, at the end of the year, most publishing houses do the financial part and don't have time for projects. So clarify that in front. And then you can put up a decent project plan on a daily business, seeing all those everyday circumstances that a publishing house or that our customer have, and see the problem. So if you want to be very, very quick and don't have so much time resources, there has to be, of course, a solution for that. In our case, there was that solution. First of all, the management says yes to the ability to adapt our processes. So we looked at the processes. Are they fine? Yes, they are. And so both sides committed to adapt the new processes, which means that, so let's say, old functionalities or certain steps and old processes has to be skipped or rearranged. Then we agreed on what data and functionalities are not needed anymore. And so this is not a part of the project anymore. You can just skip it. And of course, here in this case, so the key users were not so much, let's say, skilled and experienced with projects. So the management says, okay, we don't have much time, and we arrange a solution for you guys that we can stay on time. And in this case, there was really, it's not the top management, but the in-between management, let's say, that stepped into the project as well and did the work together with key users. And with this, when this is all arranged and done and set up, it's just the question of the methodology. And in this case, everything actually is clear. So we build up an everyday or a project plan on a daily base that shows on a daily base what is done by a key user, by a specific key user, or by K&K as a partner, of course. And you can just check every day, are we on time? Is everything fine? And if something happens and so on, of course, you can rearrange the task. And this is how we do it actually. So it's in this place, as I mentioned, the key users are ready to do the project work. They know what to do. And this means that we can work by sprints. It's an agile project methodology actually. And we, as a partner, of course, help the key users to get the work done that we had arranged before the project, of course. And a sprint is always working as the same. So in the beginning, there's a little bit of planning concerning, okay, what key user is responsible for this specific business area, and how much time brings the key user per week into the project, and maybe there's another person as a key user, and so we can set up the sprint, and then we show the software. This is the standard software. You have learned it before. We have committed that this is the new solution. So this is how you how it works, and we have showed you the task and how to put in the data and how to set up the system and so on. And then it can start to do the work actually, and key users do their work by themselves. And we have to assure that everything is really working fine. And we do that in the sense that we have daily meetings. So questioning, is there any problem? Do we have to answer any specific questions? And we have a 4-hour meeting every week. And this is the time that our customers have to ask for help, whatever there is. So if it is still a problem, so can you show me how to integrate data? Or can you show me how to do this, how to do that? That's okay. This is the space where the question can be asked and where we can support and rearrange and show how to do and what to do. Yeah, and that's pretty much it actually. So be prepared in front when the project comes up to clarify all the main questions. And if you have to do it quickly, and if you want to stay on a fixed and low budget, of course, then take these key points with you actually. So this is what you need for a quick and an on-budget project. There has to be a mature and proven standard software solution for your business areas. Be assured that this is something that is used in your segment and that is installed with other competitors of yours and so on. Yeah. There has to be the ability of the management team and of the users to adapt processes. It's always a change. It will never be the same process. It can't be actually. It's a new software solution. Yeah. So arrange the software and come up to terms to adapt processes as much as you really can concerning this, the standard software. And then, of course, all the key user topics. Ensure the key users are really experts of what they are doing, of their own department. And it would be good if they are experts of other departments as well, to have an overview of the company actually. Yeah? And make it clear that they gain the right set of skills so that they can decide in detailed questions on the project, that they can set up software and that they can train users, of course. Yeah? And they have to learn that in front of the project, not when there is a project and then there is a kickoff and then it starts and some key users say, well, what is now happening? No, nobody told me before. Yeah? That is a problem. And of course, ensure that they do have enough time for it. And that is, you can't emphasize it enough, actually. You have to have enough time for your project work. And if you don't have so much time, because to whatever reason, okay, that is not a problem, but then the project would just take longer in this case. Yeah? And of course, choose an experienced partner who can help your key users to fill their own task, of course. Yeah, so much for the short presentation. Before we start the Q&A session, Eric is introducing you to the scholarship program we have.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Yeah, so we're actually applying this methodology to a scholarship program we're doing for qualified media organizations. We're actually giving away a free implementation. So the actual project work we're talking about, we are offering that to a few qualified organizations over the next couple of years. And you can check out our website. The QR code here can help you find that. So we are applying the methodology because it can work so well for the right organizations that we want to help out maybe some people that are in the media world and maybe don't have the resources to do something like this, but could really benefit from the software that we have to offer. So we do want to offer that out there. And with that, we want to also invite you, we can go to the next slide and invite you to check in with us or meet with us at Frankfurt. Thomas, do you have those slides? Yeah, thank you. So we're going to, Thomas and others will be in Frankfurt. So if you are there next week, we do invite you to meet with us. And you can celebrate with us at our stand party. We're celebrating our some milestones. I forgot 35 years of work that we've done in this industry, in the software industry for publishers and media companies. And yeah, we'll just show you our pictures one more time, and you can contact us through LinkedIn or our info or email. You can see here Thomas has his full info. I have a LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn and message us there. And if you have any questions following up, just want to find out a little bit more about how all this works, or if it could work for you, let us know. And with that, I think we'll take any questions. I'll just start by offering a few bits of tips. I know we kind of gave this to you fast, so it's a lot of information, but the key here is several keys. The key of what makes this possible is that we put in some work so that our software is ready for an implementation. That means we have some configurations that are done. We understand how it's used So more than just features, it's not just, hey, if you push this button, this thing happens. It's like, if you want to do this type of business, we know how to make it flow through our system. So that's our upfront work, is to make sure that we understand how your businesses work, and we can help set that up ahead of time so that when you get there, your users, your stakeholders can get in and actually get going very fast. So that's what makes this possible. On the side of, if you're a publishing and media organization looking for software, and you're looking for any software, whether it's K&K or anybody else, the readiness on your side has to be critical. And I know Thomas mentioned it several times. So you, number one, have to know why you're doing it. Number two, you really have to dedicate the right people to the project so that they have the time and the resources to do it. And I'll say we help with change management by making it easier. That does help, but we can't actually do change management for our clients. They have to have, from the management and the team leaders all the way throughout the organization, have to be on board with saying, hey, we have a new software. It's going to make your lives better. It's going to improve our business. It'll provide this kind of value, whatever that may be for you. That has to drive from the organization. We make it easier by just simply making it easier. So having pre-configured solutions does make it easier for users to adopt the change, which is often the resistance that comes up in a project, is people just don't want to change. It's human nature. So we try to make that easier to adopt. And I'm looking to see if there's any more questions. You may type them if you'd like. But if not, then we'll linger for a moment, and I think that's all we have to present. All right, Thomas, anything else? You want final thoughts?
Just wait if there are any questions coming up. I should add that the idea of adapting to the standard and to be capable for standard software is an idea for our customers, actually, because it's a question of money. You know, in the old times, most often there was the need for, you know, your own customized software, and you didn't want that your software solution is the same with the competitors of yours. But this really changed because there's a lot of time and cost pressure, of course. And so customers ask us, why do you not, as experienced software provider for publishing houses, set up the system, and you can define the standard. And we did that, and we did it in cooperation with a certain German-based, what is it, like clubs or societies, yeah, publishing societies, just to approve it. And yeah, that's really working out, actually. And because you are really quick, and you have you know what costs are coming up, so you can plan the costs, and it's not like a surprise anymore when you can answer the questions in front of the project.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really a shift in mindset from how software projects were conceived in previous times. That you go in and say, how can you make the software? How can you change the software to look like what I want it to be? And then you spend all this time and money changing the software to make it look like you want it to be. We're flipping it around and saying, this will work for most businesses. So really start by saying, how can we make it work for us, just without changing it? And you may find that you need something extra, something additional you have to add on to it. That's fine. But really just start with saying, hey, can I work with this? Because it's going to save a lot of time and money to work with the standard solution. And we've come up with enough use cases to, or I should say processes that can be done to make it plausible. It will work for most organizations.
Here's a question. So the question is whether are there any emerging trends that we are coping with, and to give some example, yes, there are actually. It depends a little bit on the specific software publishing segment you're in, actually. But the trends that there are, besides the trends that there is the need for standard solutions, and that there is a cost pressure, of course, is that on the one hand, the business models are really changing fastly. We see it when publishing houses are not talking with us about old traditional business models like print and hybrid subscription models and books and so on. These business models are there anymore, of course, still there, of course. But they are thinking in content units, like, okay, I've certain content units, like it could be articles, it could be texts, it could be pictures and so on. And we have to rearrange those content modules in specific business models. And we need a software that is able to do that, actually, so that there's content on a database format, that there's content in different print formats, and that you can sell content on a license base and so on. And so the software is able to do that, actually. That is one big trend that we see. Another big trend, of course, is the KI topic, or the AI, sorry, it's a German abbreviation. The AI topic, of course. This is very new. And so the software should be able to cope with certain AI functionalities in the sense of creating texts to communicate with customers, to create text, for example, for the shop site where the products are placed and so on, and to have a more automated communication process in terms of service processes when customers buy or do have questions and so on. That is a very big trend, and feel free to come, for example, to our stand in Frankfurt, and we can show you, of course, what is in the software.
Yeah, we have been working with some AI tools for publishing, finding metadata for your titles and things like that. So there are some interesting use cases for AI. And again, yeah, as Thomas said, having the software have some built-in AI functions. We're fortunate we build on a Microsoft platform, so they provide a Copilot, which is an AI tool, but any kind of AI tool that you can incorporate is good. Another emerging trend for publishers, or really anybody, but for media, is low-code development. So that we talked about trying to use the standard software, right? Use the software as it's built. But if you need something a little extra that doesn't come with the software, the old way was to write a program. You have developers sit in a room and code for a while, and that still happens. You may still need that, but low code development is very fast. A business user can do it. Typically, not every user, of course, but somebody who's trained in it can do it without knowing a programming language. It's more of a workflow-driven thing. And again, we have a Microsoft tools that allow us to do that. But any sort of low-code tool that allows you to rapidly deploy a feature that you didn't have before is a great thing, because then you're not really customizing the software. You're just adding some features with built-in or low-code tools.
Yeah, two more trends that there are, actually. The one is, as I mentioned before, key users have to be able to set up the system and to know the system and to put in data and so on. And so the systems nowadays offer the possibility to adopt specific process details, actually. So you can do it by yourself. For example, if there is an order process and this should end into a specific information that you want to send to the customer that did an order, you can do it by yourself, actually. So it's quite easy. Power Automate is a technical term here that you can search up, but you can do it by yourself. You don't have a partner anymore, the need for a partner anymore. It's easy to do, and it's within the standard functionalities. And the other one, of course, new business models everywhere. So the need for new business models, publishing houses are testing new business models and looking for what revenue streams are there in the future. And this comes up with the need for specific KPIs and specific reports. So we arrange specific data reports on a business intelligence format, which is Power BI. That's the technical Microsoft term here as well. So that you can figure out where your customers come from, what customers buy, and what the customer journey is like. So there are lots of specific ready-to-go reports and ready-to-go data analysis that has to be in the software, because you have to be flexible. It can't be a fixed system. You know? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Just I have another thought about this whole process is not every project you can do in 3 months. We mentioned that you do have to manage the scope, but the principles are the same. So we can use standard software, we can use standard setups, we can use standard use cases. So, but you may want to do several things with a certain number of people. That just is going to take longer. But the principles allow you to do it faster and more predictably, and that's really the most important thing, that you're not in a situation where the project is over budget and over time. So that, you know, whether it is truly 3 months, we can do that with certain projects that you know we can define, but it also, the same principles can apply to larger projects as well. Well, Thomas, I think I don't see any more questions. Let's see.
There's one question.
Well, someone's asking us about a little bit of history about K&K. How did we come about, and how did we get into the publishing sector? We do actually have a story, if you're interested. Our founder, Nicholas Krause, was in the publishing industry and is passionate about it. And was it 35 years ago or so, he said, we need some software to improve the processes here. And I don't know all the story, but Nicholas Krause is still active as an architect and a designer in our company, and so we're very honored to be part of the team that he started a long time ago. Now we're worldwide. I'm in North America. Thomas is in Germany. We have people all over the world.
Yeah,
Thomas, anything else you want to say about K&K?
That the father of Mr. Krause was manager of one very famous German newspaper, and so as a technician, he decided to build processes in a software sense in the 80s, back then, for publishing.
Yeah, and we've stayed current. As you can see, we're staying up with the times. We're not, just because we've been around a long time doesn't mean we're old-fashioned. Thank you for the question.
As it always is, the publishing sector is moving very fast and always looking for new business models and to be ahead of the wave, let's say. And that's what we are as well. So we have to provide solutions for publishing houses before they come up with new business models. And so this is our goal, actually. Yeah. Okay. So just let's wait if there are any other more questions. Otherwise.
Okay.
All right. So we would be really glad to see you in Frankfurt if you are there. So it's in hall 4.0, stand E1, as shown before. Feel free to come or to connect with us and to get into talks and into communications. And we would be glad to answer all your questions that come up later on. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll sign off, and we wish you a good week and hope to see you in Frankfurt.